What did Jesus teach? Well, I suppose he only taught one thing, but what we have to remember is, one thing, one direction, one message. I mean, there were many different things he said, or at least we think he said. Most of it was passed down by word of mouth and finally written down, at least to my knowledge, research, by King Constantine in the 13th century. Now I'm talking about something I really don't know much about. But even that's something I read and somebody else told me. So how do we know? What I do, and I've studied the Bible quite a bit, maybe not as much as some of these Bible scholars. If it works, I use it. If it doesn't, I disregard it. Because all the great religions throughout history, you'll find one thing in common. It's the belief, whether it's the belief in voodoo, Allah, Jehovah, Jesus, Vishnu. There's quite a few other ones, different religions, nature, the Supreme Spirit, the Great Spirit, all the different names and views, but they all have the one thing in common. It's the belief in this higher power, something greater than themselves. And I think that's where the secret lies, is a belief in something greater than yourself. Now, what do I mean by that? Something greater than yourself, greater than your conscious mind, your logical mind, the mind that tries to figure everything out. It's my belief that God, whatever that means to you, it may mean something different to me, lives inside of me and also inside of you and inside of everything, living, animate or inanimate. It's an energy, it's an intelligence, it's something that we can't really describe with our finite, logical, rational mind. I just know in life that when I try to run the show, when I push and press and try to get what I think I want, I may very well get that. And then looking back in retrospect, when more information is revealed through time, I realize that I might have been better off, or I would have been better off had I not gotten what I thought I wanted. Had I gone with the flow of the situation or the direction of the thing I was pursuing, and not try to push and force to get what I thought I wanted. And other times when I pushed, forced, and tried with my own will to get what I wanted, I didn't get it. And at the time I was very disappointed. But then as time passed and life evolved for me, I realized that I got exactly what I wanted. That I didn't actually want what I thought I wanted. This may be a little confusing. But I'm sure if you look back on your life, hasn't there ever been something that you thought you wanted with your whole heart, and no matter what you did, you couldn't get it? And you were very disappointed, despondent, maybe even thought about, how do they say it here? Deletion. But then as time passed, maybe a month, maybe 6 months, maybe a couple of years, something came along which was so much better than what you ever could have imagined. And you look back and you were glad you didn't get what you thought you wanted. I believe that's where the power greater than myself comes in, where God is directing me and actually stopping me from screwing my life up. And even when I do screw my life up, which I have many times, He makes that turn out to be something better than I could have ever imagined. So I can sit here and honestly tell you that I have gotten everything I wanted in my life. And you probably have too, although you may disagree with that. But you'll find that if you look at life as happening for you instead of happening to you, or why me, you'll realize that everything you have today is something you wanted yesterday. And now you need to have, I believe, desires. I think Buddhism teaches that you should eliminate all desire. And maybe that works for some people. I've studied a little bit about Buddhism, so I could be wrong about that. But even the desire to not have a desire is a desire. So my take on that is this, that the way I view that is, if you have a desire that is strong and you're feeling unhappy because you have not achieved that desire, then that's where desire, I think, has gone wrong. But you have to have your desire at the same level as your acceptance and your ability to appreciate what you have in the moment. Because as I said earlier, everything you have today is something you wanted yesterday. Now, if you think what you want tomorrow or 6 months or a year from now is going to make you happy, then if that's your logic, you should be happy right now, because what you have today is something you wanted in the past, and now you have it. But yet you're not happy because you think in the future, if you get this other thing, you will be happy. It's like a dog chasing his tail. He never catches it most of the time. You will never catch your tail because it's always going to be something else off in the future. Appreciate, be grateful for what you have today, and realize that you are right where you really want to be. Now, that's not to say that you don't desire more, because we are constantly growing and expanding. To want more is perfectly natural, but not to the point where it makes you miserable or unhappy in this day, thinking that if you just had this magical thing in the future, this whatever it happens to be, that you're going to be happy. Think about that. Hit that like button, subscribe. I'll see you soon.